The night was silent. No wind, no birds, no life. Only the sound of metal creaking in the cold. Far away from the cities, in the middle of a dead zone, an old alien ship rested in the dust. Its black surface was broken. Its towers were covered with grey sand. No one had walked here in years. No one dared, but tonight someone had come. Maya slowly stepped through the broken gate. She wore a dark suit with a helmet light. Her boots made soft clicks on the metal floor. Her breath echoed in her helmet. She had heard stories about this ship since she was a child. The ship of the alien commander. The one who had started the Great War 30 years ago. Many humans had died when this ship fell from the sky. It was a place of fear and secrets. No one had ever found out what was inside. But Maya was not like others. She wanted answers. She moved deeper inside the ship. Her light touched old walls with alien letters on them. Some parts still glowed faint blue. It felt like the ship was still alive, just sleeping. A soft, strange hum filled the air. Her heart started to beat faster. She was alone, but she felt like something was watching her. She reached a large round hall. In the center stood a metal table. On it lay a small silver box, clean and untouched by time. The box was not covered in dust. It was as if someone had just placed it there. Maya slowly walked closer. Her hands shook a little. "What is this?" she whispered to herself. The box had strange alien markings. A circle and 3 stars. She had seen this mark before in old history books. It was the symbol of Commander Threxal, leader of the alien fleet. He was the one who had almost destroyed Earth. He was the one every human child grew up fearing. Maya pressed the small blue button on the box. For a second, nothing happened. Then the box opened with a soft click. Inside was a black crystal device. It was shaped like a small book, a diary. As soon as she lifted it, the device came to life. A soft light filled the room. A cold voice echoed in the air. But it was not a machine voice. It was deep, slow, sad. "If someone finds this diary," the voice said, "then my truth has finally escaped the silence." Maya froze. The voice was speaking English. Perfect English. How? She looked around quickly, but the room was empty. Only her and the voice. "My name is Commander Threxal," the voice continued. "This is my story. Not of war, but of love." Maya's eyes widened. Love, what was this? The diary showed a hologram of a tall alien, with silver skin and dark eyes. He wore a long black coat. His face was cold, but his eyes were soft. Maya had seen his picture in old war records. But this was different. He looked almost human. The alien voice spoke again. "I came to this planet to destroy it. But something happened. Something I was not ready for." Maya slowly sat down on the cold floor. Her heartbeat grew faster. She could feel the air becoming heavier. It was not just a diary. It was a secret. The hologram changed. Now it showed a small human town from the past. People running. Alien ships in the sky. Explosions, the Great War. Maya felt a cold wave run through her. She was watching the day everything changed. "I saw her there," the commander's voice said. "A human woman. She was not afraid. She looked at me like I was not a monster." Maya whispered, "Who is she?" The diary did not answer. It only showed the woman's face for a second, blurry and soft. Then the image turned black again. The voice grew softer. "They told me to destroy everything. But I could not. I broke the first law of my people. I saved her." Maya stood up. She held the diary tight in her hands. She could feel the power of the words. This was not just a story. This was something the world had never heard before. If this was true, then everything people believed about the war was a lie. But suddenly she heard a sound behind her, a soft clank. Then another. Maya turned fast. Her light moved across the hall. No one was there. Only shadows. Her hand moved to her sidearm. Her breath grew heavy. The alien voice whispered again, almost like it could feel her fear. "If the council finds this diary," it said, "they will burn your world again." Maya's hands went cold. Someone else was here. Someone who did not want her to know the truth. She quickly placed the diary in her pack and turned off the light. Darkness filled the hall. She moved quietly, trying not to make a sound. The hum of the ship grew louder. She could hear footsteps now. Real ones. The last words from the diary echoed in the silence. "She was my light. And my sin. Maya did not know what it meant, but she knew one thing for sure. This diary was dangerous, and whatever secret it held was only just beginning. She moved deeper into the shadows, holding her breath. Somewhere in the darkness, someone was following her. The night outside was still dark, but inside the alien ship the air felt colder. Maya moved down a narrow metal hallway with the diary hidden inside her pack. The walls were covered with alien writing. Some lights flickered weakly like the ship was half alive, half dead. Every small sound echoed. It felt like the ship was breathing. She reached a door with a red circle mark. The same symbol was on the diary, Commander Threxal's symbol. Maya pressed her hand on the panel. The door slid open with a slow hiss. A new room appeared. Inside the room there was a round metal chair and a half-broken control screen, and on the walls a glowing white light. She touched the wall and the diary in her pack started to vibrate. Then it turned on by itself. The alien voice returned, calm, cold, but this time softer. "I remember the first day I saw her," the voice said. "I came to this planet with orders to destroy." A new hologram filled the room. Maya stepped back. She was no longer looking at metal walls. Now she was standing in the middle of a memory. She saw Earth 30 years ago. The sky full of black alien ships, alarms, smoke, soldiers running. And then, a small Earth town, quiet but broken. Commander Threxal was there, wearing a long black coat, walking through the ruins. His army followed him like shadows. Then Maya saw her, a human woman. Long dark hair, a red scarf. She stood in front of a group of children, trying to protect them. No fear, only strength in her eyes. The alien voice spoke again. "I was ordered to capture her. She was a symbol of resistance, a human leader. But when I looked into her eyes, I forgot my orders." Maya's hands grew cold. This was something no one ever told in history. In human records, Commander Threxal was called a monster. But here, in his own words, he sounded different. The hologram showed him raising his weapon, but instead of firing, he dropped it. He walked closer to the woman. His soldiers aimed their guns, but he raised his hand. He protected her. "She should have hated me," the alien voice continued. "But she did not. She spoke to me. She said my name, my real name. No human should have known it." The image grew darker. The woman whispered something into Threxal's ear. The hologram didn't reveal the words. Then the voice paused. Outside the memory, Maya felt a vibration in the floor. A soft thud. Then another. Someone else was moving inside the ship. She looked at the door. Her helmet light flickered. For a moment, she thought she saw a shadow standing in the hallway. But when she turned fully, it was gone. The diary spoke again. "That day, I made my first mistake. I saved her." The hologram showed alien soldiers looking at Threxal in shock. He ordered them to fall back. Then he grabbed the woman's hand and ran into the forest. The mission had changed. It was no longer about war. It was about her, Maya whispered to herself. He fell in love with her. The room lights blinked twice. The ship was reacting to the diary. It was like the memory was waking up the old machine. A sudden alarm echoed from the deep corridor. Someone had activated the outer doors. Maya crouched behind a broken control panel and turned off her light. Footsteps came closer. Heavy boots, not human. A sound like metal scratching the floor. She held her breath. The diary's voice whispered again, lower this time. "If the council finds this diary, they will erase everything. They will kill anyone who listens to it." She didn't know who the council was, but the way the voice said it made her heart beat faster. The footsteps stopped at the door. The shadow moved slowly, like it could smell her fear. Maya took a small scanner from her belt. The screen flashed red. 2 life forms outside the room. She stayed silent. The voice inside the diary did not stop. "She told me something that night," Threxal said. "She said there is always a choice, even for monsters." The door made a small sound, a click. Maya held her gun tight. Her hands shook, but her mind stayed clear. She waited, but the door didn't open. The footsteps moved away. The shadow disappeared again. A few seconds later, silence returned. Maya slowly stood up and took a deep breath. She touched the diary again. She didn't fully understand what was happening, but she knew one thing. The truth in this diary was dangerous. It was not meant for humans to hear. She played the next line. "I started to doubt everything," the alien voice said. "My orders, my people, even myself." The war was not just about power. It was about fear, and she made me feel something I was forbidden to feel. The hologram showed them sitting in a forest, hiding from both armies. She smiled at him. He touched her hand for the first time. Maya felt something strange inside her. The war had destroyed cities. Millions died. But here, between one alien and one woman, something different happened. Something hidden. The diary stopped again. Then it whispered something new. Something Maya did not expect. "If anyone is hearing this," Zynar said, "run. They will come for the diary. They will come for you." Maya's scanner blinked again. This time it was not 2 signals. It was 5. They were getting closer. Maya grabbed the diary and turned off the light. Her heart pounded in her chest. She had no idea who they were, but she knew they were not here to help. She moved to the back door of the room. Every step echoed in the empty ship. She whispered to herself, "I'm not giving this up." Far behind her, the old ship made a low, deep sound. The hunt had begun. Maya ran through the narrow metal hallway. The sound of her own breath echoed in her helmet. Behind her, heavy footsteps followed. They were slow but strong, not human. She could feel the ship shaking with each step. She turned a sharp corner and pressed her back against the wall. She turned off her helmet light. The hallway was dark now, only soft blue alien lights glowing from the floor. The diary inside her pack was warm, almost alive. For a moment, everything was silent. Then a distant clang broke the silence. "They're still coming," Maya whispered to herself. The diary suddenly glowed on its own. A soft voice filled the air. The alien commander's voice, calm, sad. "I met her again." "In the forest," Zynar said. "I was not supposed to see her again. But I went back. I couldn't stop myself." Maya slowly walked forward, staying close to the walls. As the voice spoke, the hallway around her changed. A hologram formed into a green forest. Warm light, wind, birds. It was not the cold alien ship anymore. It was the memory of the commander. She saw him, Commander Zynar, walking carefully between the trees. He moved without sound, like a shadow. And then she saw the woman again. The same woman with the red scarf. She sat on a rock, waiting. Zynar's voice continued, "I thought she would run." But she smiled. She offered me food. Human food. I had never eaten it before. Maya watched the alien sit down in front of the woman. He was a powerful commander, feared by millions. But here in this memory, he looked like a lost soul. She handed him a piece of bread. He held it slowly, like it was something precious. The woman spoke softly. The diary didn't translate her voice, but Maya could read her face. She was not afraid. She trusted him. Zynar said, "She told me her name. I still remember every sound. She said it like a song. And for the first time, I wanted to protect someone who was not my own." Maya touched the wall to keep her balance. She could feel the emotion in his words. It was not just a story anymore. It felt real. The forest hologram faded. The cold hallway returned. But the voice continued, whispering like a secret. "She taught me things I never knew. How to breathe Earth's air. How to listen to silence. She told me about hope. She made me believe that war could end." Maya turned left and entered a storage room. It was dark and quiet. She hid behind an old container, holding the diary close. She checked her scanner. 4 life forms were still moving closer. They were searching for her. She took a slow breath. She needed to move, but she couldn't make a single mistake. The diary glowed again. Another hologram appeared. This time Zynar and the woman were lying under the night sky. The alien ships were flying far above them, but they were hidden in the shadows of the trees. "She trusted me with her world," Zynar whispered. "And I trusted her with my heart. I broke every law of my people to keep seeing her." Maya closed her eyes for a second. She could feel the weight of those words. The war everyone knew about, the Great War, had a secret behind it. A bond between 2 enemies. The scanner beeped again. The life forms were closer now, just outside the storage room. Maya held her gun tight. Sweat ran down her back. Then something unexpected happened. The diary said, "I left a map for her. A safe place. A place where no one could find her." Maya opened her eyes wide. A holographic map appeared above the diary. It showed old coordinates. A place on Earth, deep in the mountains in a restricted zone. She recognized it. It was near her city. She had grown up hearing stories about that zone. No one was allowed to go there. She whispered, This can't be real. A loud bang came from the hallway. The door shook. Someone was trying to break in. The alien voice lowered. If you are listening to this, Zynar said, then the Council has failed to erase me. But they will try again. They will not let this truth live. The door cracked. A long shadow slid inside. Maya crouched lower. She turned the diary's light off and held her breath. She could hear their voices now. Rough, robotic, not human. One of them said, "Find the diary. Kill the human." Maya's heart raced. She slowly moved to the vent in the corner of the room. It was small, but she could fit. She pushed the cover open with silent hands. Inside the room, the aliens stepped closer. Their glowing eyes moved across the walls. One of them kicked the container she had been hiding behind. It fell with a crash. Maya slid inside the vent just in time. She crawled forward, the metal cold under her hands. The diary pulsed softly like a heartbeat. The commander's voice returned, softer now, almost like a memory speaking only to her. "I loved her," he said, "even when the world told me I should not. Even when my people called me a traitor, she was my only truth." Tears touched Maya's eyes without warning. She didn't know why. Maybe because the voice didn't sound like a monster. It sounded human. She reached another vent opening and looked down. Below her was the engine chamber. It was empty for now. She pushed the cover open and jumped down quietly. The diary flashed again and the map returned in front of her. A red dot blinked slowly. It was calling her. Outside the vent, the aliens found her trail. One of them hissed something in their language. The chase wasn't over. It had just begun, Maya whispered to the diary. "I don't know why, but I believe you." The commander's voice said one last thing before fading into silence. "Then you must find what I left behind. She is the key. Her bloodline is the bridge between our worlds." Maya stared at the blinking red dot on the map. She didn't know the full story yet, but she felt it in her bones. This was bigger than war, bigger than her, and somewhere deep inside the ship. The hunters were closing in. The engine chamber was cold and dark. Dust floated slowly in the air. Old alien lights flickered weakly along the walls. Maya crouched behind a large metal pipe and held the diary tight. She could hear the hunters moving above her. Their boots made heavy, slow thuds on the metal floor. They were searching the ship step by step. She had only a little time left. The diary started glowing softly. A low hum filled the chamber. The alien commander's voice returned, quiet, steady, but heavy with pain. "It was the night before the final attack," Zynar said. "I made my choice. I would not follow their orders anymore." Maya sat with her back against the pipe. The moment she closed her eyes, the engine room disappeared around her. A new hologram formed, the alien ship's control hall 30 years ago. She saw Commander Zynar standing at the center of the room. He wore his black coat, his hands clenched tight. Around him stood other alien officers, their faces hard and cold. A red screen blinked with the word, "Invasion ready," the commander's voice continued. "I told them I wanted to stop the war. I told them humans were not the enemy, but they laughed. They called me weak." Maya saw the alien counselors shouting. She didn't understand their language, but their faces showed anger. One of them pointed at the screen at Earth. Another pointed at the human woman's photo, the woman with the red scarf. "They said she was dangerous," the commander said. "They said she had to die. But I loved her." The hologram shifted. It showed him walking alone through a hallway, his face full of quiet rage. He stopped in front of a locked door. Inside, the woman sat in a small room, her hands tied but her eyes calm. "I told her my plan," Zynar whispered. "I would fake her death and hide her far away from both armies. A secret colony, a place no one could find." Maya's heartbeat grew faster. So the woman had lived, at least for a while. The hologram showed the commander holding her hand. He promised to protect her. She smiled at him. It was not a smile of fear, it was trust. "But someone betrayed me," Zynar said. The image changed again. Now Maya saw another alien soldier, tall with bright red eyes, standing in the shadows. He watched the commander and the woman. He followed them down the hallway. He didn't speak. He didn't move. He only watched. "When I tried to take her out," Zynar said, "they were already waiting." The next scene exploded into chaos. Sirens, red lights flashing, soldiers running. The commander shouted something, but too late. The woman was taken from his arms. A blast shook the hallway. Maya felt her chest tighten. The pain in the commander's voice was real. They called me a traitor. They locked me in my own ship, Zynar said. And they took her away. The hologram faded. The cold engine room returned. Maya looked down at the diary. Her hands trembled. She whispered, "He lost her." Above her, a loud crash broke the silence. The hunters had found the vent she used. They were close. Maya checked her scanner. 3 life forms now. One was moving fast. The others were slower. But they were coming. The diary glowed brighter. One more recording played. "But I had one last plan," Zynar said. "I left something behind. A message, a map, and her bloodline. If it survived, could end the war forever." Maya stared at the blinking red dot on the holographic map. A restricted zone. She had to get there. But the hunters were almost here. She crawled to a maintenance hatch near the floor. She pulled the lever, and it opened with a loud hiss. She climbed inside just as footsteps filled the chamber. From the darkness of the hatch, Maya watched them enter. 3 figures, tall, wearing black suits with alien symbols. Their eyes glowed green. One of them walked slowly to the center of the room and knelt down. He touched the floor where she had been hiding. "She's close," a cold voice said. It was not human, but it spoke perfect English. Maya froze. These weren't just alien machines. They were soldiers, real ones. And they were hunting her like prey. One of them looked up. "She has the diary." The commander Sin, the leader, stood up. "Then we end it here." Maya forced herself not to breathe. The hatch was narrow. If they checked it, she was dead. Then suddenly the diary pulsed again. A hidden message played in a whisper, almost too quiet to hear. "If you are hearing this," Zynar said softly, "then I trust you. But they will not stop. If they catch you, they will erase every word of this story." Maya closed her eyes. "I won't let them," she whispered back. The hunters started walking toward the other side of the room. Maya used the moment to slip through the maintenance tunnel. The metal walls were tight and the air smelled old, but it was her only way out. The tunnel led to a lower level on the hangar. It was empty except for old alien crates and a broken shuttle. Maya jumped down carefully and landed on her knees. Her legs shook, but she didn't stop. She opened the diary again. The hologram of Commander Zynar appeared one last time in this part. His eyes were soft, almost human. "She gave me something," he said. "A promise." She said one day, "Someone will finish what we started." Maya whispered to herself, "Maybe that someone is me." The diary flickered. Outside the hangar, a loud alarm started. The hunters had found her trail again. But Maya was ready now. She wasn't just running anymore. She had a mission. She grabbed a metal pipe as a weapon, checked the map again, and moved toward the broken shuttle door. Somewhere far away in that restricted zone, a secret was waiting. And behind her, in the cold halls of the dead ship, the hunters came closer like shadows with no mercy. The night outside the alien ship was cold and silent. The moonlight fell over the broken land like silver dust. Maya ran through the dead field, her boots hitting the hard ground. The diary was tight in her hands. Behind her, the hunters followed like shadows in the dark. She didn't stop. She couldn't. The map from the diary guided her toward the restricted zone, a place humans had feared for years. Wind pushed against her face. Her breath came out in quick bursts. Every few seconds, she looked over her shoulder. Green lights flashed in the distance. The hunters were close. She reached the old border fence. It was broken and rusty, but warning signs still hung on it. Restricted zone, no entry. Maya climbed through the gap and stepped into the forgotten land. The diary glowed again. Commander Zynar's voice whispered softly, almost like he was walking beside her. "She was here, the night before everything ended," he said. This was our last hope. Maya followed the blinking red dot on the holographic map. It led her to a small hill covered in black stones. At the top was something strange, a round metal door half buried in the ground. Dust and vines covered it, but the alien symbol was still clear. The same circle, the same 3 stars. Zynar's mark. Maya fell to her knees and brushed the dust away. A small blue light appeared on the door. She held the diary near it. The light scanned the device, and with a slow hiss the door opened. A cold breath of air came out from below. A hidden tunnel. Maya climbed down carefully. The tunnel walls were smooth metal. Dim blue lights turned on one by one as she walked. She felt like she was stepping into the past. Zynar's voice filled the space. This was the safe place I built for her. No one knew about it, not even my own soldiers. At the end of the tunnel, Maya entered a small underground chamber. It was quiet, empty. But on the wall, a strange machine was still alive. A glowing white crystal sat at its center. Next to it, a chair. On the chair lay a red scarf. Her heart stopped. The same scarf the woman had worn in every hologram. Maya picked it up slowly. It was old and soft but real. Not a memory, not a dream. She could feel the woman's story in the fabric. Then the diary unlocked one final message. The voice of Commander Threxal came clearer than ever. "This is my last recording. If you hear this, it means someone has found what I could not protect." The hologram appeared in the middle of the room. Threxal was sitting in the same chair where Maya stood. His silver skin looked weaker, his eyes tired. But his voice was calm. "They took her from me," he said. "They tried to erase everything. But I made a promise. I would not let her story die." Maya listened, her hands still holding the scarf. "She carried my child," Threxal continued softly. "A child who was both alien and human. A child who was hope." Maya's breath caught in her throat. She whispered, "Her bloodline." "Yes," Threxal said. "If you are listening to this, that bloodline survived. You are standing where she stood, maybe. You are part of her story." Maya felt the room spin for a second. She remembered the stories her grandmother told her. Stories about a woman who vanished during the war. A woman with a red scarf, it couldn't be, but deep down she knew it was true. Suddenly a loud crash shook the tunnel. The hunters had arrived. Their footsteps echoed down the hall like a drum of death. The diary's voice grew urgent. "They will not let this story live. You must decide, run, or finish what we started." Maya grabbed the scarf and turned to face the tunnel entrance. The first hunter appeared, tall, dark, with glowing green eyes. Two more followed behind. They raised their weapons. One of them shouted, "Give us the diary." Maya lifted the diary. "No." The leader stepped forward. "It belongs to us." She took a deep breath. "No," she said again, louder this time. "It belongs to the truth." Before they could move, she pressed the glowing crystal on the machine. It reacted instantly. A bright light filled the chamber. The ceiling shook. A deep hum filled the air. Threxal's last words echoed all around them. The war was built on lies. But love was real. And love does not die. The light exploded outward like a wave. The hunters screamed as the energy hit them. Their armor cracked. One of them fell to the floor. Another vanished in a flash of blue light. Maya stood in the middle of the storm, her hands tight on the diary. She could feel the power in the room. Not a weapon of war, but something older. Something stronger. When the light faded, the chamber was quiet again. Only the scarf and the diary remained. Threxal's voice whispered one last time, "She was my light. And now maybe you are hers." Maya walked out of the tunnel as the sun began to rise. The world outside was still broken, but it felt different now. The truth was out, even if no one else knew it yet. She looked down at the scarf in her hand. "I'll finish it," she whispered. "I'll protect the story." The diary was silent, but she could feel it. Threxal's promise was now her promise. The war had started with hate, but maybe, just maybe, it would end with love. And far behind her, the alien ship finally went dark forever.